welcome to the Celtic Cast On podcast. My name is Kelly and I'm coming to you from the beautiful east coast of Canada. Today is May the 2nd, it's a Sunday and it's 2021. It's been a while since I've done a knitting podcast. I think the last one might have been February. Oh, even January. Really? Was it January? I think it might have been January. Goodness. Anyway, I'm back, and as I had said in my Floss Tube podcast, life has just happened. In March, my husband hurt his back. He threw it out. The worst throwout he has had. It's kind of been a thing that's happened in the past, but this time he has been off work for several months, and it's been a slow recovery process. So yeah, not much got achieved in March and April, but I have been doing a little bit of knitting, and I wanted to show you the things that I finished, I guess, since January. So let me start off with socks. It's going to be a sock parade. I'll just grab my sock blockers. So I think maybe the last time, I might not have started these, but I might have showed you what I was going to work on for my February socks. If you don't know, I was I'm taking part in the Rainbow Sock Chronicles with Lay Family Yarns and Jewels of So Sweet Violet. So the idea is that every month has a different color that you have to use. You can choose whatever pattern you want, but you have to knit your socks in that color. And by the end of the 12 months, you'll have a rainbow of socks. So these were my February socks, and I chose the pattern Sugared Almonds by Rachel Coopy. And here's what we have. This is a yarn that I dyed myself many years ago, and by many, I'm talking maybe 9 years ago. And I wasn't happy with how bright it was. You know how things look different in the skein. So I didn't ball it up ever. I just kind of had it in the skein. And so I wasn't really happy with the color, and I just decided that I was going to use it. So I knit with it, and I like it. It's a little bit stripy, but it doesn't bother me, and I think it looks really good in this pattern. I think the almonds really pop. So those are my Sugared Almond socks by Rachel Coopy, again knit with yarn that I dyed myself. Okay, the next pair of socks are my March socks that I worked on. These ones, March was pink was January, red was February, March was orange, and again I'm just going through my stash. I'm not buying yarn for this. I have stash that I just need to get through, and I pulled out this skein. This is called, actually from the company Skein, and it's called Top Draw Sock, and the colorway is Sugar. And the pattern that I used is called Whistledown Socks. If you are fans of Bridgerton, you will know who Lady Whistledown is. But I saw this pattern and I just loved it. I think it was really cheap. So I decided to purchase these. I'm not a big lace fan, but where there's just a little bit of lace there, I knew that I could handle it. And I just loved that the rest of the sock was just plain. So those are the Whistledown socks. And this one came up in the skein. It looked really orange. There is quite a bit of yellow in it too, but I still love them. I think it's the perfect color for this pattern. It's very delicate. So those were my March socks, and the Whistledown socks pattern is by Rachel Fletcher, if you want to check it out. This top draw sock is very soft too. Very kind of like a silky soft. Okay, that leads me to a pair of socks that I test knit for Knitterella, who is Jill Zielinski. You may know her. She has beautiful patterns, absolutely beautiful. I have long admired Jill's patterns, but I have kind of yet to knit one because I've never had the right yarn to knit them with. It's not that I didn't want to knit them, I've wanted to knit them all, but I've never kind of had the right yarn available. She used to do a lot of patterns for oh, who am I thinking of? Plucky Knitter. She used to do a lot of patterns for them. So she came out with the sock pattern, and I just jumped at the chance to test it because it is gorgeous. It's called the Late March pattern, Late March socks. And I made these ones a little bit longer so they don't actually fit on my blockers all that well, but hopefully you can still see. Look at that detail, isn't that cute? So the detail is all the way down the front, and then the back is plain. And then it has this twisted rib cuff, twisted rib on the heel. And I just think they're so pretty. I just love how the pattern turns out. So this, I actually started this in a different colorway that was a little bit, not too variegated, but tonal. But you just couldn't see these little stitches. This is a really fun stitch to do. I can imagine myself knitting another pair of these in a different colorway, but if you do have the chance, if you do like the pattern and want to pick it up, this is really fun to do. This looks complicated, but it's not. It's very easy and very easy to memorize as well. So it's a great pattern. So this is knit in Knit Picks Stroll in Dogwood Heather. And I've had this for a long time, and I just love this, love the pink, the color of, the shade of pink, I guess. It's very pretty. So those are my Late March socks, again by Jill Zielinski of Knitterella. And I have one more pair of socks. Since it's May, I finished my April socks, so I may as well show you my April ones as well. All right, this is another test knit, and I just happened to have the right color for this April's socks for the Knitting Chronicles, Rainbow Chronicles. So April is yellow, and I had this yarn that is, it's actually Knit Picks Stroll, but it's been over dyed. Get these other one on here. And although the yarn on this one might be a little busy for this pattern, I think it still goes well. You can actually see the pattern better in real life than you can in pictures, which is unfortunate. But I still like it. I can see myself knitting this pattern several times. So this is the pattern, it's called Textured Socks 3 Ways. Now this is one of the textures that comes in the pattern. You can also get 2 more textures that you can put on your socks. And it's by Dana of Dana Ray Makes. And I'm gonna give you a close-up so you can kind of see the pattern. Very well written pattern, easy to follow. And again, you get basically three patterns in one. I love that. So I did a test knit for this, and I was able to knit them in this month's color, which is yellow, and finish them. So that's my sock parade. I do have 2 other finishes. If you had watched my video on March Madness, I had picked out a knitting whip and a stitching whip that I was going to finish for May. The only one I did finish was my knitting whip, which is a hat. This is the Belfield hat, and it is Ysolda Teague's Colorwork Club in, I don't know if it was 2019 or 2020. I think I got them last year. I think it was 2020. So I had knit a cowl that came in the kit, and it was in different colors. Each month, I think there's three packages once a month, and you kind of chose your colorways. So you could choose neutrals, you could choose brights, and you could choose fluorescence or something like that. Anyway, so I chose my club to be the middle one. So it's kind of neutrals with some color. And this is my Belfield hat. I just love that crown decrease. It's beautiful. So this is knit with Ralma Phenol. And the colorways 449, 4125, and 4139. And they're just 50 gram skeins. But I just love these colors together. I'll put it on to show you. I can see this being super toasty in the winter. And I love that it's got a rolled up brim. At first when I saw pictures of it, I was like, oh my gosh, why would I roll up that brim? You're covering up that beautiful color work, but shocker, it's only half the color work. So it makes sense that you roll up the brim. So I did indeed roll up the brim. The only difference I did was I went down a needle for the brim, because on the pictures I found it looked kind of baggy at the brim, and I wanted that to be the tightest part. So yep, that's my Belfield hat. And I have one more FO. This is the FO parade today. This is my throwback. I was gonna say throw over. Is it throw over? Oh my gosh. I think it is throw over. Throwback is the cardigan. Yeah, throw over. This is my throw over sweater by Andrea Mowry. And I knit this in, ooh, it's wrinkly. It's been in my closet. I have been wearing it. This is knit in Briggs & Little Heritage. And colors are copper, dark maroon, cream, and rag. Do a close-up of the colors. I just love this color combo together. Now I didn't come up with this combo. I actually saw someone on Ravelry had knit, I think, the same sweater in these colors, and I just thought, oh my gosh, I have 3 of those in my stash right now. And I got the dark maroon color from Christy, who is local. She saved my bacon, and I was able to knit it up. Now, here's my issue. I have one issue with this sweater, and I'm unsure of what to do yet. I have really broad shoulders. The rest of me is not so broad. Well, currently the rest of me is a little broader than normal. Thank you, COVID. But my shoulders are much broader than the rest of me. So if I knit a sweater that's my bust size, my shoulders are wider than it, and sometimes I have pulling across my shoulders. When I have this sweater on, it bunches up here. So if I were to lean down or put my arms up like this, the sweater would kind of go like this and kind of bunch up here, and I would kind of be pulling it down. So technically, I probably should have knit the next size up. But if I did knit the next size up, it would kind of just be hanging off of me. It wouldn't be a semi-fitted sweater. So I'm not really sure. I almost should have gone up a size until I got to here and then went down. But I wonder if that would have still been too baggy at the top and then fit funny at the bottom. I'm not sure. I mean, I can live with it. It's just a little irksome that it does that. Yeah, I haven't decided what I'm gonna do. It still smells so sheepy from that Briggs & Little. Yeah, that's my only qualm with the pattern, I guess. And it's probably why I don't really knit a lot of top-down sweaters, because of that issue with my shoulders being much wider than the rest of me. Things tend to not fit great that way. But yeah, trying to think, my other yoke sweaters have all been bottom up. Except for my Lopi, but my Lopi is quite big. So I never had that pulling issue. I wanted my Lopi to be oversized. Yeah. It's interesting, but yeah, I still like it. It only cost me like $16 to make it. So you can't go wrong. I could maybe rip back and reknit, but I don't know if I'm irked that much by it. We'll have to see when it comes September again. If it still bothers me, then I'll probably rip back and reknit it. But right now I'm just gonna leave it as is. So those are all my FOs, my goodness. I guess I did have a lot to show you. All right, so I don't really have, I just finished my yellow socks 2 days ago. So I haven't really started anything else yet. I've been looking because of course we have May socks, and May is green, that's this month. And so I've decided I'm gonna go, I pulled out these colors from my advent calendar from Giddy Yarns in 2019. Hers was 10 gram minis, 24 10 gram minis, and it was a fade, and it was to make a shawl pattern. Now I didn't get the pattern included because I knew I wasn't going to wear a fade of many colors shawl. That's just not my type. So I just opted to get the minis, and I love them. And I've grouped all of the greens together. This one I already wound up for something else, but I think I'm gonna pop it in there. But I just love these together. Whoop! There it goes, off the table. So I'm gonna use these together. And I think I just need a neutral color to put them together, and I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna make. I am going to knit for this month the Candy Mountain Socks, and it's by Twin Stitches. And she is actually fairly local to me. She's in the same province. If I can get that up. So this is what the Candy Mountain Socks look like. So I'm gonna take these and pop them in as the mountain areas, and I just need some kind of a neutral. I'm not gonna go white because this one is pretty light itself and I don't want it to get lost. But I was thinking maybe a light gray would go well. We'll have to wait and see. I'll have to have a dig through my stash and see what I come up with. But that is my plan for May. I've also been looking at some sweater designs and kind of been itching to make a sweater, like a springish sweater. And I'm unsure of what to knit. I kind of like the idea of knitting a cropped sweater to go with some dresses. I haven't found a pattern that I exactly want to do yet. I've also been looking at patterns by Along avec Anna. She has beautiful patterns that are very classic and wearable, and I loved those. And I've also been thinking about, there's a new Andrea Mowry pattern, Pink Fizz maybe I think it's called. Now I do have pretty much the same color that she did in her Pink Fizz. I just don't have the alpaca to go with it. So I don't know if I want to use it for that or if I want to do it for something else. But I have this that I was thinking of using. I have a Sweet Georgia yarn that's a light purple I was thinking of using. And then I have this Surrey alpaca that I got dyed to go with some Madeline Tosh that I have in Betty Draper Blues. And I was going to put this together with it and make, well, I was going to make a different sweater, but I think I've changed my mind. So I was going to make something with that. There are some Along avec Anna patterns that have a mohair with it, so this could be an option. But this will be my first Surrey alpaca silk. I can't do mohair. Unfortunately, I'm just too itchy these days. So I got Haley to dye me this up, and I think it's gonna be good. It feels super soft against my skin. I don't think I'm gonna have an issue with it. And if I don't, then I'm gonna be buying some more different colorways of this that I can pair with other things. Yeah, so that's Ducky Darlings. And she custom dyed it for me. I showed her the picture of the Betty Draper Blues. So it says custom dyed and it says light denim blue. That's probably a better representation there. And this one is Red Sock Blue Sock, who's a Canadian dyer. And this one's called Josephine. I just love that. And this is actually a cashmere sock. 70 superwash merino, 20 cashmere, 20 nylon. So I have a sweater quantity in that. I also have it in a gray color as well, but I think this one would be perfect for right now. So I've got decisions to make. I've got socks to knit. I just haven't started any of it. I think that's all the knitting I have to share with you. So I will share a book that I have read recently that I gave 5 stars to. I need to get caught up in my reading because I've got several in my queue that I need to finish. This one is called A New York Secret, and it's by Ella Carey. This is set in the 40s, and it follows Ella, who is born into money, so she's very much a socialite, but she doesn't want to be. She doesn't want to just, when she becomes of age, to get married and just be someone's wife. She has aspirations to be a chef, and she starts working in a restaurant during the war as a chef, and she's trying to make her way up to head chef, and she has dreams of owning her own restaurant someday, etc. This actually, most of the war stories, some war stories that you hear are about out during the war. This one is about the people that are left behind during the war. Some of the people that work in the restaurant have gone off to war, and it kind of tells of the heartaches that these people that have been left behind go through as they try to continue on with life as normal as they can be, and still going through all the troubles with rationing, especially in the restaurant business, all of the accommodations they have to make because they're on rations, and kind of making new recipes that include the things that they can easily get and are easily able to serve while still serving meals that are of high class. So that was a really great novel. There's a bit of a love story in it as well. I really enjoyed this one, and you should definitely check it out. This is another one that I gave 5 stars to. This is The Girl Who Escaped Auschwitz, and it's by Ellie Midwood. Auschwitz ones are hard. I love reading them, but I also don't like what I read. So I have to kind of be in the mood to start these. And in the beginning of this, I was like, this is really, do I really want to be reading this right now? Maybe I need something more light and fluffy. But I kept with it, and it was a beautiful story. A love story in this one as well as the determination and courage and everything else that goes into being in Auschwitz during that time and what they had to do to survive. It also shows the selflessness of other people that were in Auschwitz, that although it was kind of like a fend for yourself, there were still people there that were looking out for others and doing everything they could in their power to help others get through the situation. A really great story. I would definitely check it out, and I gave it 5 stars. All right, I think that's all I have to share with you today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you'd like to chat, leave me a comment below. I'd love to know what you're working on. If you have any suggestions for sweaters, I'm always down for it. Or if you have a suggestion for a sock pattern that I could use for the Rainbow Sock Chronicles this month, for the remainder of the months, I would love to hear it as well. Thanks so much for watching, and I will be back soon. Have a wonderful May.